There's one line in the Bible that honestly should have ended every story I'm about to tell you. God says it to Moses, not as a threat, just as a fact, the way you'd warn a kid off a hot stove. You can't see my face, because no one sees me and lives. No one. That was the deal. Get too close to God, and that was it for you. The last thing you'd ever see. And yet, tucked into the oldest pages we've got, there are people who did exactly that. Stood close enough to reach out and touch him, looked straight at it, and then went home, made dinner, raised kids, lived. The Bible doesn't hide these people. It names them. 10 of them. 10 who by every rule should be dead. Stick around for the 10th, because that one actually explains how any of them got away with it. The witnesses. Number 1, the man who wrestled God in the dark. It starts with a con man. Jacob had spent his whole life cheating people. His brother, his blind father, his uncle. Now he's about to come face to face with the brother he robbed, and he is terrified. So he sends his family across the river and stays behind, alone, in the dark. And in the dark, somebody grabs him. They fight, not for a few minutes, the whole night. And somewhere in there, Jacob starts to realize this isn't a man. The stranger reaches out and pops his hip clean out of the socket, easy, like flicking off a light. And Jacob still won't let go. He hangs on, dead weight on a ruined leg, and says, "I'm not letting you go until you bless me." The sun comes up, and it lands on him. He's been wrestling God all night long. He names the place Peniel, the face of God, and he says it flat out, "I saw God face to face, and I'm still alive." He walked away from that with a limp he'd keep for the rest of his life, but he walked away. Number 2, Hagar, the slave who named him first. Here's something that should bother you a little. The first person in the entire Bible to give God a name isn't a priest. It isn't a prophet. It's a pregnant slave girl named Hagar, used up, thrown out, lying down to die of thirst in the middle of nowhere. And that's where God shows up, not for a king, for her. He calls her by name. He knows about the baby. He knows she's got nowhere left to run. And Hagar asks the question that kind of cracks this whole list open. Have I really just seen the God who sees me and live to talk about it? She calls him El Roi, the God who sees, the lowest, most forgotten person in the room, and she's the first one to look him in the eye and give him a name. Number 3, Abraham, the man who made God lunch. Most people in the Bible meet God and hit the ground shaking. Abraham makes him lunch. 3 strangers turn up in the worst heat of the afternoon, and this old man comes running out to meet them, washes their feet, has fresh bread made, kills a calf, a good one. They sit down under a tree, and they eat. And it's somewhere in the middle of this completely ordinary meal that it dawns on you. One of these guests is the Lord. No fire, no earthquake, just an old man and God passing food back and forth in the shade. And it's over that dinner that God tells him the son he's waited a lifetime for is finally coming, and that a city called Sodom is already finished. Abraham actually argues with him about it, to his face, haggling like a man at a market trying to save strangers he'll never meet. And God lets him. Number 4, Moses, the friend who got told no. This next one is the strange one, because it's the guy who said the rule in the first place, and he somehow ends up on both sides of it. The Bible says God spoke to Moses face to face, the way a man speaks to his friend. They actually talked. Moses pushed back, God answered. Nobody in history got closer to God than this man. And then Moses pushes his luck. He says, "Show me your glory, the real thing, all of it." And God says no. "You can't see my face and live." So he tucks Moses into a crack in the rock, covers him with his own hand, and lets only his back pass by. God's closest friend on this earth got everything, every conversation, every secret, everything except the full look at his face. He caught the edge of it, just the edge, and his skin glowed for days afterward. They eventually had to put a veil over him because nobody could stand to look at what was left on his face. Number 5, the 70 elders, the meal on the mountain. If one person seeing God is a miracle, hang on, because here are 74 of them at once. Moses, his brother Aaron, and 70 of Israel's leaders climb the mountain together, and the text just says it, flat, no hedging at all. They saw the God of Israel. Under his feet, something like a pavement of blue sapphire, clear as the sky on a perfect day. Now, by the rules God handed down on that exact same mountain, every one of these 74 men should be dead where they stood. Instead, you get what might be the most unsettling sentence in the whole Old Testament. God did not lift a hand against them. They saw God, and they ate, and they drank. They had a meal. They sat there in front of God Almighty and had a meal. Number 6. Gideon, the coward who braced for the end. Gideon's hiding from an enemy army when the angel of the Lord sits down next to him and calls him a mighty warrior, which is almost a joke, because at that exact moment, Gideon is crouched in a wine press, threshing his wheat where nobody can see him. But then he brings out an offering, and fire just erupts straight out of the rock and swallows it, and the visitor is gone. And it hits him all at once. He shouts, and you can hear the panic in it. I have seen the angel of the Lord face to face. He isn't amazed. He thinks he's a dead man, and a voice comes back to him, almost gentle. Easy. Don't be afraid. You're not going to die. He braced for an execution. He got a job instead. Number 7. Manoah and his wife, the parts who watched him vanish. These two were about to become the parents of Samson, but first they had to survive the messenger who came to tell them he was coming. A man of God appears, first to the wife, then to the both of them. They cook up an offering, and the visitor does something neither of them is remotely ready for. He steps into the fire on the altar and rides the flames straight up into the sky. Manoah grabs his wife and basically falls apart. We're going to die. We've seen God. And his wife, clearly the level-headed one in this marriage, just looks at him and says, if God wanted us dead, why would he take our offering? Why would he bother telling us we're going to have a son? Honestly, hard to argue with her. They watched God disappear up a pillar of fire, and they lived to raise the boy. Number 8. Isaiah, the prophet who felt himself coming apart. Isaiah doesn't meet God out in a desert or a tent. He gets pulled, in a vision, right into the throne room of heaven itself. He sees the Lord on a throne, high and lifted up, and just the hem of his robe fills the whole temple. There are these burning creatures up there covering their own faces, calling out, "Holy, holy, holy." And the door frames are rattling, and the whole place is filling with smoke. And Isaiah just comes apart at the seams. I'm finished. I'm a dead man. My own eyes have seen the king. He's convinced the sight of it is killing him right there. And then one of those burning creatures flies down with a live coal and presses it to his mouth. The thing he thought would destroy him turned out to be the reason he was born. Number 9. Ezekiel, the exile who saw the storm with eyes. Down by a river in Babylon, sitting with a crowd of broken, exiled people, the sky just tears open over Ezekiel's head. And what comes out of it has been giving artists nightmares for 3,000 years. A windstorm full of fire, creatures with 4 faces apiece, wheels inside of wheels, the rims of them covered all over in eyes moving wherever the spirit moved. And up above all of it, a throne like blue stone, and on the throne something shaped like a man but made of glowing metal and fire, with a rainbow around him. And notice this, Ezekiel won't even come straight out and call it God. He's too afraid to. He picks his words like a man walking on thin ice. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. 3 whole layers of distance just to describe it, and then he goes down, face in the dirt. Number 10. John, the one who solved the whole thing. And that brings us to the last one, and to the answer that's been sitting underneath all the others this whole time. John's an old man by now, exiled, stuck by himself on a little island called Patmos. He hears a voice behind him, turns around, and sees Jesus, but not the Jesus he remembered. Hair white as snow, eyes like fire, a face like the sun when it's too bright to even look at. And John, and this is the same John who used to lean back against Jesus' shoulder at dinner, drops to the ground like a dead man. But here's the thing. Years before this, that same man had written down the one line that unlocks every single name on this list. He wrote, "No one has ever seen God, but the Son. He's the one who showed him to us." That's it. That's the whole secret. Every one of these people saw something real, but never the whole of it. A back, a hand, a flame, a likeness, a glory wrapped up in smoke. They lived because God never once showed them the full, undiluted blast of who He actually is, only ever as much as a human being could take and still be standing. The rule never really broke. God just kept turning Himself down, dimming the fire on purpose, so the people in front of Him wouldn't burn up. And on that island, a hand reaches down and rests on the shoulder of one terrified old man, and it says the same handful of words God had been saying to all of them for thousands of years. Don't be afraid. 10 people, 10 times somebody should have died and just didn't. A con man, a slave girl, an old man at a dinner table, 70 leaders sharing a meal, 2 terrified parents, a few prophets who were sure the sight of God was about to finish them, and one old friend who finally put the whole thing together. No one sees me and lives. That was true. Honestly, it still is. But over and over again, the God you supposedly can't survive went ahead and let Himself be survived anyway. He bent down. He covered the fire with His hand. He let them walk home.
And maybe that's the part worth sitting with for a second. Not that these people somehow saw God, but that God apparently wanted so badly to be seen.
If that got under your skin even a little, good. There's another story right behind this one. Subscribe, and I'll see you there.